There we go. Hey everybody, hope you guys are all doing okay. Sorry my microphone was messing up, so I had to reset my computer very fast. A lot to talk about here today. Still a lot of consolidation as far as Bitcoin's concerned, but we have seen earnings reports come out today. And I'm going to say they're mixed, but not terrible, so we're going to be looking at those as well. Loki's very excited about Halloween. He's inside because he doesn't like kids in Halloween costumes. He kind of tends to growl at them if they're dressed really weird. So he's inside for the night until it gets so late that I'm going to let him out in the backyard to go use the bathroom and stuff. But he's in a good mood today. Lots of playing time outside. My grandmother came over, so he got to say hi to her. And he's, come here. He's very good mood right here. Very, very, very good mood. All right. So, hey, Nicholas. Hey, GT. Hope you guys are both doing good. Happy Halloween to everybody. It's going to be a pretty good stream here tonight. We're going to be going over some plays and things like that, talking about some altcoins that fell down because some altcoins are pumping, I think like Solana, but then you have other ones that are not pumping, like Ape token is down like 3-4% or something like that. So we'll be talking about that as well, okay? But say goodbye to Loki for a little bit. I'm trying to smother him so he's like, I don't want to be smothered. If he's smothered, then he doesn't, he leaves me alone for like a cool 5-10 minutes. I think he might be enjoying this a little bit too much because he's starting to go yeah, now he doesn't want to be smothered. He just wants butt rubs. Okie dokie, everybody. Let's go back over here. Let me move my microphone over its head. Let's get after this. All right. And hey, DZ. Hey, John. Hope you guys are both doing well. To you. Was I talking to you on IG? No, I have not been on Instagram in probably a few weeks now. I do not message people on Instagram. I am not one of the people that even fancy on how to use Instagram normally. There are a lot of people pretending to be me, especially now. Like I told you guys with all the new scammers out, you are most likely not talking to me. Well, in fact, 100% you were not talking to me because I haven't opened up Instagram in a few weeks here. But yeah, so as far as the market's concerned, let's talk about the stock market here first. Really, the big surprise here was AMD. They announced earnings. The price. Sorry, Loki's doing some weird stuff. The price came down after hours, and then when they had the earnings call, it actually jolted back up here. So we have an opportunity to have a little bit of a stronger move going into tomorrow. But really, everybody is kind of concerned about what the next few days of data is going to mean. So we may see consolidation for part of the day with an opportunity to have a reversal breakout, and that's going to be as far as the Nasdaq, the SPY, and the Dow. The Dow is probably the weakest of everything, I would say at this point, but definitely still some opportunities. If I were looking to trade right now, I would probably just hold my gunpowder, not be doing too much as far as the stock market. We have the rates announcement coming out pretty soon, and who wants to guess see what's going to happen there. Inflation is going steady. It's not going down anymore. So maybe they have to do that, or maybe they're going to wait a little bit longer, and then let's see how much longer they want to wait. It really, it's all up to the Fed. So there'll be a couple people talking about it tomorrow. I may be sleeping in tomorrow, honestly. So well, I'll let you guys know if I'm going to be doing a stream. Let's see. Was there anything else here? Okay, this is it. Before the big Fed decision, all eyes will be on this big Treasury debt announcement Wednesday. This is something else. I was trying to make a video about... No, I did make a video actually about this one right here. I'm also making a video about the new I-Series bonds that are coming out here pretty soon. I think in November. So, tomorrow, I think. So I'll be talking about that quite a bit. But just as a reminder, our government still can't seem to get their act together as far as spending. They're going to be asking for another $776 billion of debt for the final quarter, and that just means October, November, December, that final quarter of the year, okay? Now, as far as Bitcoin's concerned, really, it kind of sucks because, hey, LR, hope you're doing well. We're still consolidating. We're not having any fun way of getting out of this consolidation right now. Typically, when we're independent like this, we usually consolidate, and then we continue to break up higher, and everybody's nice and happy because this is your traditional continuation pattern. At this point in time, we're still consolidating, and everybody's just basically waiting and waiting and waiting for a larger move to happen. I thought we might have broken out over here with a little bit more force because you could almost see a little bit of a shoulder breakout right there. I thought maybe that would take us up another notch. No, we broke out, retested the support, came back down, broke below support, then rallied back up again. So kind of in this miserable state where Bitcoin really isn't doing anything, but at least we haven't broken down. And any day Bitcoin hasn't broken down, there's going to be a lot of people being optimistic about what the future could hold. Altcoin's a little bit of a different story. We'll touch on that in a second. But as far as Bitcoin, that 4-hour chart tells you pretty much all you need to know at this point in time. Like I said yesterday, that 50 moving average here on the 4-hour chart is creeping up closer and closer and closer. So it looks like it may happen sometime tonight or early morning. Get ready for a lot more volatility in the price action of Bitcoin. I'm hoping we can have a breakout, and that breakout can give us some stronger moves. We have had some minor breakouts so far, but they haven't been enough to keep us going. Every time we've had those smaller breakouts above the white line there, which I've now adjusted because I just put it from here to here instead of the first one, which is here to here. Every single time we've had that breakout, we've gotten knocked back down. So that doesn't really make me feel confident right now. I think we need some news to really pump Bitcoin up. This could be rate news. This could be anything to keep some volatility in there. And if you kind of match or put together the volatility that we're expecting with some of these moving averages, and then you add on the rate hike decision coming in pretty soon, there you guys go. You're going to have some fun here pretty soon. Just be careful because you know how fast Bitcoin can move in those situations. And if you're on the wrong side of that trade, you can be left holding bags if you guys aren't holding you guys don't have any stop losses. Okay, we did make a fun trade yesterday. That one did hit the stop loss I think early this morning for about a $30 loss. Not terrible. Still doing fine in the overall portfolio, but I was hoping that altcoins would show a little bit more strength here. As we kind of head over here to Bitcoin on the daily chart, you'll still see this consolidation here. Nothing too crazy, but again, I'm hoping that we don't have to go through another week of consolidation before a breakout. Like I said before, even if we do manage to break out here, this really isn't a doomsday scenario for me unless we start really breaking down key support levels, which we're not even looking like we're going to do that yet, if at all. What we don't want to have happen here is consolidation and then a breakout in the future. Of course, that'll still help us out. Of course, we're still okay with that breakout if it takes us up to 35, 36, 37,000. But that does take a little bit more time, and that's more time for people to panic and start selling off their cryptocurrencies when it hasn't hit their stop losses, I should just say. Okay, now let me get rid of this very fast. As far as altcoins, let's talk about them because I mean, I don't think they're a disaster, but I took a few minutes to look on Twitter today, and people are really freaking out about altcoins. Some are down a lot, some are down a little bit, but I don't think anything is really down like so much where I'm like, oh my god, I should sell everything. Ethereum, doesn't Ethereum just look like it wants to take off here? That's what it looks like to me. I'm waiting for a nice pop. Hopefully rate hikes coming up here tomorrow will help us out. But we're moving up higher and higher in the body of the candles. Each day we're closing at a new high, which shows some strength here. We don't need to talk about oil. Dollar index has been flat, finding a little bit of strength here, but we really haven't had a change of character as of yet. So kind of just peeking and keeping an eye on what's going on. ADA rejected from the 200. Another reason why I said I'm not buying the ADA. Dogecoin coming back down, retesting some of these support levels. This one had a pop, but wasn't a great one. XRP had a pop. Ape token coming back down after a pop a couple days ago. AVAX still doing okay. AXS getting rejected by that 200 daily moving average. Bitcoin Cash, this one's down a little bit more. This one might be interesting because all you're seeing here is pretty much a nice little uptrend here. If this comes back down to the next few days, Bitcoin Cash may be a good one to check out. Matic still holding resistance, still up against resistance, I should say. Not breaking out though. BNB, some of these other plays still doing okay, but not really up against. Actually, Crowcoin is still doing okay today, down 1.5% today, or 1.35. Not terrible. Shiba Inu got rejected off the 200 here. I was hoping for this thing to have another big boom. We'll see if it still does. DOT is still holding support after the breakout. And so, I mean, you can see how we've had small drops here, but, some of them have had some nasty wicks, and it's had a pretty bad effect on the mentality of traders. Gala rejected. GTC holding some support levels by the moving averages. ICP rejected by the 200 here. KDA still looking okay. That's stablecoin. Solana is still moving up higher. It seems like Solana is still doing fine. I know there's cryptocurrency influencers. No. XLM, no. Pepe, no. Oh, this is a 50-minute chart. What am I talking about? Can't even see what I'm supposed to be talking about. No, mostly everything's just consolidating still. XLM's up a little bit. ID token already had that pop. Of course, it's going to come back down. UFO token's okay. Spell token. Come back up a little bit here. This thing does not like a resistance though. Sand, I guess that's a good thing. Mana up against the 200. STMX still doing fine. Oh, okay. Not in a terrible spot, but you can definitely see altcoins have come down a few percent over the last 24 hours, and that has been a little bit of a concern for some day traders out there, or perhaps I would say just swing traders out there. And until then, we still have to wait for this long consolidation period with Bitcoin to really kick off here. All right, let me see over here very fast. One of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about before is... oh, no. Well, there was something here. Oh yeah, the case against Sam Bankman-Fried wrapped up today. They are going to be doing closing arguments here pretty soon. I should say the defense wrapped up today, and we'll know pretty soon whether or not he is found guilty or innocent. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's going to be found guilty, but you know, it'll be nice to actually have it confirmed. All right, let's see. Where are we at? Well, there was a nice little thing right up here at the front that was talking about something I wanted to talk about, but now I'm not entirely sure. They were going to talk about, oh, there it is. There we go, okay. This was still interesting because I still think that Anheuser-Busch is going to be something that you guys may want to invest in the long term, but they really have just had a lot of trouble here of fixing their issues, right? So let's pause that because we don't want to watch ads and stuff. But it goes on to say Anheuser-Busch InBev on Tuesday reported a staggering 13.5% decline in U.S. revenue in the third quarter as the company's Bud Light brand continues to suffer in the country after a controversial partnership with transgender activist Dylan Mulvaney. Let me zoom in here a little bit for you guys so you can actually read what's actually happening. But yeah, this was something I found really interesting here. Let's see, sales of Bud Light began to tumble in the United States, you know, back in the back when they did the partnership with Mulvaney. 17.1% decline in North American sales volume during the third quarter. Its normal American sales fell 14.5% in the prior quarter. So, I mean, they're going down and down and down and down. Now, usually they're going to hit a rock bottom, but I might start investing into Bud Light, the stock, to just make some money down the road. Usually, if you guys go over here to, where are we at? Go over to FinViz. There you go. See how it popped up a little bit today? They have a small dividend, but it's a dividend nonetheless. So I might just be looking to buy into this in the long term here and see where it goes. It's not as low as it was back over here in 2020. This is 2022, excuse me. But it's still looking like it's an okay opportunity for me to buy this for a long term, and I'm talking like 5-6 years type of play. But you know, it's had a pretty big fall. It's seeing a little bit of a move up right now. Maybe I'll wait for it to come back down a little bit. Hopefully it does. And then from there I can actually buy some up. But I know Anheuser-Busch, they've had some issues. But if you actually go to their website, they why are they asking me these questions? Iceland. I'm making up a birthday. 1951, okay. Okay. They are doing that partnership with UFC. Oh, I checked out the website a few days ago. It still looked like they were more patriotic, but it looks like they're going back to their normal marketing. I wonder if that'll work because they may have just thrown up their hands and said, we can't figure this out. But okay, yeah, that's just one of the investments I'm thinking about making here. They did not pay me to say that. I'm not even sure I'm on the Bud's radar for that type of shit. But what do you call? They have gotten beaten down a lot, so it's kind of one of those plays like maybe along with Disney and other stuff where they've come down so much that perhaps I want to start taking a nibble. I would only say a nibble, though, because anything more than that, you're like, probably not, right? Okay. Now, a few other things here just for tomorrow. I know we talked for a couple seconds about the dollar index. The dollar index has still broken out. It's still holding that breakout over the last few days. Hopefully, we can have a move that kind of brings this up a little bit hotter or a little bit higher. But of course, that would bring the stock market down, which is kind of what I'm looking for at this point. Now that we can see that Bitcoin can go up without the stock market going up, I don't really care what happens to the stock market because I personally want it to come back down. I was listening to a few different debates, I guess, on TV over the last few days, or I guess on my phone over the last few days, and it was interesting. And sorry, guys, I'm just gonna put a new photo here to see if there we go. I was listening to a few different debates on Fox Business, CNBC, and Bloomberg over the last few days, and it's been kind of interesting because this is a case of the most bullish bulls as far as the stock market's concerned. They're saying that we actually already had the recession, and now we're just dealing with the consequences of it, basically, and we already kind of had our soft landing, and from here on out, we're going to have strong growth that's going to take us up to higher levels. Even if we do see a slowdown in growth, it's still going to be a positive GDP environment, just like what we had a few days ago, right? It reminds me of back in the day of GDP from Trading Economics. I think this is it. Yeah. For last year, we had 2 negative quarters of GDP. But because this was during an election time, the media kind of gaslit us into saying this wasn't a recession, even though it hit the technical definition of one. Now they're trying to say that, hey, the recession already happened, and now we're going up. Well, because you can see GDP dropping. But 4.9% is massive. Unless during the next quarter they come back and say, oh, wow, this wasn't really 5% or 4.9%. This is really just like 2.1 or 2.2, which doesn't seem likely. There's a good chance that we may see growth continue to get hotter. That means inflation will probably continue to get hotter as well. I don't know if I can actually type in CPI. There we go. No, that's not. There we go. Should just that up. Okay, there we go. So as inflation has kind of remained steady and not gone down, if we see growth continue to get hotter, inflation is going to go back up. And that's really the big concern. I know we've talked about historically what inflation looks like. This is back from the year 2000, over here to 2008, over here 2015, over here to COVID times. Let's go back over here and let's go over to the last 25 years. Oh, wow, it is 25 years. Got to max it out now. Let's just go with the line chart. All right. Inflation has come back down, but a lot of times throughout history afterwards, we have these rebounds in it, right? So this is from 1940. A few years later, we end up spiking back up again. Even when we had our crazy drop over here, we end up coming back up. I would say this is like deflationary, though. It's kind of crazy to go into that territory. But even back over here, spiked, came back down, started going back up, and you see what happened there. So usually this takes quite a bit of time, but it seems almost like the Federal Reserve, if we do have like one more hot inflation report, it almost seems like, you remember what I was telling you guys about pain and how the Federal Reserve would focus on tackling inflation over keeping the economy in a stronger position, I guess. Too hot of a position. I'm almost wondering if maybe they're not going to focus on slowing down the economy so much, because it seems like they're just waiting and waiting and waiting. And waiting does, when you're waiting to see what your policy has been doing to the inflation results in the economy, when you're waiting and waiting, sure, it gives you time to kind of see what's happening, but at the same time, inaction is still a form of action. So I'm wondering if down the road here, we may see inflation start to peak back up above that 3.7% mark. And if we start going back above 4, then I would say, hey, the Federal Reserve made a mistake. They should have kept on adding rates because now inflation's going higher. This is going to be, looks like it's going to be a battle that's going to be happening for a while. But again, they could still be right, and inflation could drop down to 3.2 tomorrow, next time, and perhaps that gets us out of this. But I'm getting more concerned that we're not doing enough to fight inflation, and by just kind of waiting for the lagging effects to hit, that means it's going to take even longer for the effects of the next rate hike to have an impact on the overall economy, if that makes sense. So Usually it takes about 12 to 16 months for the effects to fully hit the economy. If we're going by that, let me go over here to, I don't know, last 5 years. Right? Back in 2021, when we started, inflation started going up, we didn't really start to hike rates until back over here. We still have quite a bit of effects to come our way, but it doesn't seem as of yet all of the stuff that we've done so far. Remember, it's been like a good amount of rates hitting the economy. It doesn't seem like it's been able to do enough here. We came down pretty fast only because we rose up so fast. You see how fast that rises? That's why we had that big sudden drop there year over year. At this point, it seems like it's getting a little bit more difficult. That's why I actually showed you guys the rent inflation the other day. Not something good. But going back to the dollar index, we're primed on the weekly chart to have a nice rip up here, and that can make things very problematic, again, for people that want to see rates go back down or people that want to see a risk on an environment where everybody's throwing the money into the market. If we see this breakout here, there's a good chance that we have another flush out as far as the Dow Jones coming back down to the 200, the NASDAQ coming back down here to 1386, and the SPY breaking back down below this support and maybe coming back down here just to 400 levels. 400 is going to be a large mental support, and if we break down below that, damn, we're going to be in trouble. But yeah, so just keep your eye on it. I know we're seeing a small rebound here over the last few last couple days, but so far, you know, we've had these 3 day rebounds, like one rebound here, two rebound there, and then all of a sudden we continue to fall back down. So just take it easy, relax, and you guys should be fine. I'm not really buying too much stuff here aggressively. I would still say this is more of a day trader's market than a swing trader's market, because as you guys can see, those death crosses are still coming for us. The 20 is about to cross over the next few days over the 200, and the last time that happened, you know, I guess, I don't know if that was a crossover or not. Well, either way, this one or this one, wherever you want to go, that crossover really did not help out the market. It kind of foreshadowed a really bad event. Same with the 50 crossing down below the 200. That's about to happen here, just like it did in March. Both times it led to some really bad events in the overall stock market. Really bad events. And hey, Martigen, hope you're doing well, my man. Let's see right here. But yeah, so just keep an eye on that, because the SPY isn't the only one. The NASDAQ over here, it's a little bit more of a lag here, so it might not happen until late November, but it's still going to happen. And the Dow Jones, of course, it's already happening. And it really just depends on how fast these things moved after the crash that we saw last year. If you guys remember, the Dow really didn't move too much up this year. The SPY moved up a decent amount, but the NASDAQ with AI, I mean, they freaking just flew. And that's why you're seeing some of those moving averages on the NASDAQ take just a little bit longer here. Nothing bad, but just to kind of show you that those lagging indicators are really pointing for some more bearish action in the long term. Short term, you can definitely try to trade the waves here and make some money, but overall, when you start looking at some of these stocks, right? Apple's in a downtrend, and death cross is coming. Last death cross for Apple was back over here, perhaps, or even over here. Again, both things were not too pleasant. Amazon bumping back up right now, a long way away from those moving averages. And I think that's possibly just because how fast this thing rode up, just like a lot of other things. AMD, death cross is inbound. Tesla, death cross is inbound. Disney, I guess Disney already had their death crosses, didn't they? Over here, kind of a wonky situation. Plus the larger one back over here. I mean, really, ever since that one, it's never been the same. But I wonder, let me go over here very fast. Yeah, those death crosses were a while ago. Even Nvidia, right? Cream of the crop, a death cross is most likely coming sometime in the end of November on the weekly charts, a long time before they have one on the daily charts. But weekly charts, just keep an eye out for this stuff, everybody. All right, let's go back over here. All right. But again, as far as Bitcoin's concerned, I think we're fine. Let me go back over here very fast. It's basically a boring market where we have to consolidate. Can I find this very fast? There we go. I wanted to talk to you guys about this because they had earnings report came out. Nobody liked it. The stock came down. And then following that, we saw the price of AMD jolt back up after the earnings call occurred. I thought they had, yeah, here we go. Let me move this up very fast.
It's more reaction from Wedbush Senior Vice President of Equity Research, Matt Bryson. He has an outperform rating on the stock. Matt, the embedded line on these results seem to be the sticking point. And then how do you feel about the guidance?
Yeah, so with embedded, they've told us that embedded's going to get a bit weaker. You heard from Intel that Altera, their FPGA segment, is going to get a lot weaker in the second half. And so I'm less concerned there. I think a lot is going to depend upon how they frame guidance. So the concern has been largely their CPU shipments into servers. And so it's, when you look at that 6.1 billion number, it's what is the makeup of that number? If servers grow, if they have positive things to say about where MI300 is, in terms of, they certainly said in production shipments this quarter, but if they have good things to say about it moving into 2024, I think that will allay a lot of concerns.
Is this a sort of situation where we could see this stock move around quite a bit after hours based on that conference call commentary? I mean, I know that investors have been punishing stocks during this cycle for even a little bit of bad news, but AI is such an important story in the market this year, and AMD's got quite a bit to say about it.
Yeah, no, I certainly, I think that, you know, depending upon what that Q4 makeup is, what they have to say about 2024, that's going to be largely deterministic in terms of where the stock ends up. Again, more positive comments around AI because it is so important, more color around what's going on in the standard server market, particularly if that's...
Okay, so the big thing was the AI market there, and that's what kind of helped push it back up. And hey, Kat, so as far as which way you're going to be going right now, Bitcoin is in this consolidation phase. All right. Normally, I would say I'd be long here. I would just say be careful about opening positions if you're not going to be ready for some volatility. And the main reason for that really is just coming up, we have the interest rate hike. So maybe if I should just go back over here to the front page of CNBC. Right. Here's everything to expect from the Fed's policy announcement Wednesday. These type of events, if there is a surprise, do cause a little bit of volatility, and usually after the events we see the market tend to have pretty big moves in one direction or another. They'll usually, like the day of, there'll be a spike or a drop and it'll kind of balance back out eventually, but over the next few days the market really takes a big move in the more bullish direction or in the more bearish direction, depending on which direction he's going for. Now, you tomorrow probably do not want to hear him say there is another interest rate hike, another 25 basis point hike. I do not think that's what he's going to be saying. In fact, I think he's going to be talking about how we've raised enough. We're just going to be waiting, and if you know, we're watching, and if inflation gets worse, we're going to start to add more rate hikes. But right now, we're just waiting and seeing. I think that's the message that he's going to give to everybody tomorrow. But, you know, the Federal Reserve meeting will most likely conclude Wednesday with the central bank not doing a whole lot of anything, right? And that still is doing something, unfortunately, the way the market's going to react to it. Just the way the market wants things for now, there is virtually no chance policymakers will make a move either way on interest rates. Recent data has brought Fed officials time to decide their next step. Inflation, while decelerating, is still too high. And actually, it's not decelerating anymore. So that's the problem right there. And the economy is growing at a solid pace despite the highest benchmark interest rate since the early part of the century. What investors will watch instead are the signals that come from Chair Jerome Powell and the rest of the Federal Open Market Committee about when they are where they are leaning for the future. So I would still say, again, all they're going to do is say, hey, we're not going to be raising rates, but we're going to keep watching to see if we have to raise rates. And if we have to raise rates, we will raise rates. That means a whole bunch of nothing. But in financial speak, it'll give people an optimistic viewpoint of where the market can go over the next few days. And I would say that, hey, maybe some of this bounce that we're looking at as far as the stock market, that can move things up higher, and it may give the opportunity for Bitcoin to have that next big move up here pretty soon, right? Right now, as far as I'm concerned, I'm just concerned that, hey, if something bad happens where they're maybe a little bit more hawkish than they should be, or, you know, not even than they should be hawkish, more hawkish than the market is anticipating, And I'm afraid that may lead to Bitcoin breaking back down below this 50 moving average here on the 4-hour chart. If that does occur, you're probably going to see Bitcoin take a pretty big move down back below $34,000. Again, it's only $500, $550 above 34,000, so it's not like crazy. But you'll see people start to freak out because we will start to break out of this little pennant that we have. And usually breaking down out of this is not going to be a good sign because we're going to have those death crosses start to come back up. And that's why I keep on telling you to watch the moving averages. They usually do have an effect. Even the 1 hour, right? Continue to move down. Golden cross back up here. Death cross. I only had a small move, nothing too crazy, but again, that's because all the moving averages are creeping up, and get ready for that 200 moving average to come into contact with what we're going to be watching for here pretty soon as far as the 50 and the 20. I'm still betting on bullish breakout, so I still have longs open. The only longs that I do not have open are the ones where the stop losses have hit. If the stop loss hasn't hit, I'm much more bullish at this point. And I'm hoping Jerome Powell can really put some more wind behind those sails, so to speak, so we can actually have a breakout and go back above $35,000 again. And then from there should be somewhat of a whale type of event where they push us up to 37,000 to 38,000. It's not going to necessarily be retail that comes in here and it helps us. Because again, we still haven't had that news that we've been hoping for as far as what's going on with those ETF announcements, and can the SEC do their job, or are they going to stall again? It's all up in the air, and people want to have that certainty. If you go over here to that's not what I want to do. Twitter. Where is options? There you go. There was some Elon news today, but there really wasn't much on cryptocurrencies. SEC Gary Gensler says, happy 15th anniversary to Satoshi Nakamoto's famous white paper that started crypto. That's nothing, right? Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, Sam Bankman-Fried aspired to be president of the United States. Ex-girlfriend Carolyn Ellison said, again, it's that whole saga is wild, but again, there was no real big news today. Hopefully we do have a larger breakout in the future, but if you're hoping for news, it really just has not been coming along. So I'm still long. I'm still being patient. It's going to be annoying to be this patient, that's for sure. But I think everything will be fine in the long run here, especially over the next few days, because all I'm expecting here is, look at this. Even if you want to go over here and take these off of the day ones and just go over here to take off the hourly technicals and make them over here to daily ones, right? We're still looking at a pretty big breakout coming soon, or a breakdown coming soon. But we are going to have that big move any day now, probably again over the next 24 hours. Yesterday I said like between 24 and 36 hours, I think. Now we're kind of in that last 24 hours where you guys can expect a pretty big move to happen pretty soon. Maybe we can buy ourselves one more day if the price of Bitcoin comes down a little bit. But overall, we're primed to go. We're just kind of waiting to see if there's buyers there or a whale to kind of help us out with that breakout at this point, because it's definitely been kind of annoying. I could definitely say that. But okay, everybody, it seems like the chat's kind of dead today, so I'm not really sure how to respond to that. So I'm going to call it a night. Have a happy Halloween, and I should see you guys tomorrow. I know Bitcoin's not really doing anything. I know everybody has their own little things planned, so have fun with your families. Go and walk your dog and say hi to all the nice trick-or-treaters. And I'm going to go maybe let Loki go on a walk and see if he can not bark at poor kids in costumes, because it's going to be so sad if he does. Thanks, everybody.